Oh, David.
Nice classic
I wanted
music
Vern
for-
Lundquist. You gave me Gus Johnson. Garbage.
Nice classic music for you.
Jeez.
Oh, my gosh. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through some teams that can potentially cause chaos in the college football playoff race. Let's start with Auburn. Yes, that Auburn.
No.
Brian Harsons is there, and the reason why they put a lot of teams they put on here because of schedule, and they have an opportunity to upset teams. They have Texas A&M on their schedule. They have LSU. They have on-the-road games against Georgia and Alabama, and that gives them a shot to maybe be chaos. I don't know.
I don't see it. And they don't have a quarterback. I mean, Robbie Ashford's no good. Peyton Thorne may not beat Robbie Ashford, so what's he? And it's year one of Hugh Freeze. I can't get there with Auburn. I'm sorry.
No, I don't even think that they could pull off the casual upset or anything. They're just, no, not in the SEC. I'm going to say a hard no for that one.
No, I mean, if you want to, forget it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
Hey, give us a little sample of Cash the Ticket.
No, this isn't that. This is me just being mean.
Do
wanna
it.
stop.
Be
No,
mean.
I'm in a good mood. Let's move on.
Let's move over to Baylor. And this one is across conferences because they have an out-of-conference game against Utah to start the season off. Well, not to start the season off, second week of the season. So that can be a potential upset. Then they also have games against Texas, Kansas State, and TCU.
Where's Utah? Where's that game?
That game is
down in Baylor.
Yeah, it is down in Baylor, yes.
It's in Waco. Yeah, I like Dave Aranda. Ron Roberts, his defensive coordinator, is a stud. I hate their quarterback, Shapen. I can't stand him. But I can get there because I think the Big 12 is a lot more forgiving than the SEC. I'm with Rico. Could Baylor, if Cam Rising isn't playing for Utah, can they knock him off?
Yeah.
Could Baylor, pop a big opponent in the Big 12? Yes.
Can Baylor beat Texas? Yes.
And they have arguably one of the 5 best running backs in America and a kid named Richard Reese, who's a superstar. So, yeah, I'll buy on Baylor.
Okay.
Not a good opinion?
No, it is. I'm sorry. I'm already laughing at the next
Jeez,
option.
I thought he was breaking my balls about Dave Aranda.
Rico, you're going to love this one. Colorado. That's an option for the chaos team. I mean, they
chaos
play
is
TCU.
in they will be completing utter chaos?
Let's
Chaos
go with
is
that.
in they may go 2-10.
They have Oregon, they have USC, they have Utah, they have TCU.
Yeah.
Could they pull an upset?
No. Oh, let me think about that. No.
I actually think Colorado, they could win 2 games this year.
That's it.
That was a 1-11 football team, and I understand what Dion did in bringing in a whopping 49 transfers. But not a lot of these guys are any good. Now, Travis Hunter will get the publicity. Shadur Sanders, his son.
Travis Hunter will be playing both sides of the ball, which means if he goes down, you've now lost 2 starters.
Yeah, I think they could beat Stanford. Maybe you get a shot at Wazoo. That's about it for me. I think, look, I love the idea of Dion. I think long-term it's the right move for a program like Colorado, but not in year one, man. It's like Matt Rule at Nebraska. Yeah. I think you're going to get your teeth kicked in.
And think about this. Not only that, but everybody's seeing Dion on camera. You don't think that these coaches are saying, hey, they think they're better than you. They're going to be motivated. Because down the line, it may start working at Colorado, but you better beat them now while they're down. And this is, David, lack of depth, injuries. I mean, football is a contact sport. They may not have the bodies by the end of the year.
I'm going to go off the board with this one off the top of my head. I was thinking about this when we had a conversation about this team pre-show. Iowa. Now, they only have to go at Penn State when it talks about the other side facing those in the regular season.
Right. They don't play Michigan. They don't play OSU.
Right. But by mentioning them, it means they get to Indianapolis and pull off an upset on one of the teams that makes it.
They'll be 28-point underdogs. No. And if you want to say chaos, it would come down to they have to go to Happy Valley in the whiteout and beat Penn State.
Now, here's the thing.
Well, they can lose to Penn State, still make it an Indy, and make the upset there.
And they will get murdered.
And here's the thing, though. Iowa Penn State plays classic games. I don't know what it is about those two teams. You got to hope that maybe they're like, remember when Northwestern, the last time they went to the Big Ten championship game, we all thought it was just going to be a cakewalk for Ohio State. And you're looking up like, wait a minute. It's the third quarter, and this game's a lot closer. That's what you got to hope that Iowa does. Could they cause chaos? I think that they will. They're going to always play great defense, but I don't think that they'll be able to cover whatever offense is there, whether it's Michigan, Ohio State, or Penn.
Next team on the list would be Florida. Of course, we all know they have Utah, but they get Tennessee at home. Of course, they have the Georgia game, and then they have LSU 2 weeks later after the Georgia game.
Florida, to me, Florida's kind of like Florida State, where I'd like to think that maybe they've bounced back and they're becoming that brand name again. But I don't know if I'm ready to believe in them or not, because every year I think, okay, they're going to be back. They let me down. So this is one, David, I'm going to simply say no. What, did I say something? This is a pillow fight.
It was a comedy routine you're doing over there with Florida being back. That's funny to me.
Oh.
I had to laugh at that.
Yeah, he's a Georgia fan. Can you tell?
Unless they beat Georgia, and then when do they play Georgia?
I'm looking at it now. They play Georgia on October 28th.
Okay, so I thought maybe if they played them early in this year,
But here, that's off of a bye week for them.
yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to beat Georgia, you're going to beat Georgia early with the new quarterback.
Correct.
That's a little too late.
The final team on this list, we were having a conversation about them. We will continue to talk about them. It is Michigan State, and it's simply because of their schedule, who they have, who they can beat, pull an upset again.
Well, they have 2.5 games at home. The one game at Ford Field, and they got Michigan, and they got Washington at home. The Ohio State game, I'm not even going to count that. I told you, if they win that game, David, you're going to have to revive me with smelling salt, because I've passed out.
If they stayed within 35, revive me. They've been a complete show-their-ass embarrassment against OSU the last 3 years.
I like how I said it a little bit better.
But also think about this when you all talked about the Washington game. Washington? I mean, CFP related.
Hey, you want me to
they're
file?
Trying to make it.
All right, file it. Go ahead. Just because, you know what? You view it one of two ways. They get 5 bites at the apple or 5 chances to get beaten to death with a baseball bat. Either way, yeah, they play a role. Go ahead. I mean, it's the truth.
The Washington game could be what Miami was 2 years ago. A game where it looked like they were overmatched, and they somehow went down into Coral Gables, won that game, catapulted their season. They went on to be 11-2, went to a New Year's Six game. That's what Washington could be. Michigan, you already know. They play each other tough, whether you believe it or not. You know, you could say, oh, I'm going to take the point spread. Good luck with that, because you'll be sweating that one out.
That is your college football blitz.